friend ZZZ Honky, or Pure, as he's sometimes known. He's going to be part of the Kirby Superstar four-way race. He's probably the favorite to win it. I mean, he's a god of all things Kirby Superstar. And yeah, we're really excited to get these guys over there. We're currently raising money towards our $3,800 goal, which will cover the travel expenses for both of them. We're actually already at about $3,035. So we're getting close, guys. Thank you guys so much. And with us now, we have our good friend here, Omnigamer. Omni, how are you doing?
A little tired. It's just a tiny bit early for me, but I'm pumped. We're ready to go, I think.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really excited. I haven't seen this run yet. I've just heard so much about it from you. You did pick this up for 12-hour challenge, right? I'm not making things up.
Yep. No, this is a 12-hour challenge game. So in the span of 12 hours, I brought this from I basically never played it before to a pretty decent speed run. So I'm pleased with it.
And just a quick update on some of our bid wars here. I've been informed there was a slight accounting error, my mistake for that. And Doggo is still winning as the name for Red 13, $20 to $9. In second place, we have Suki at $9. So yeah, unless people want change, we're calling Red 13 Doggo. And nobody wants that.
Dog. Alrighty. Just do one final check here, making sure that balance is good between game audio and the Discord audio. Seem that way, maybe? Question mark? Alright. Well, nobody's speaking up, so I think we're doing good. Let me know when we are all set to get started, and I'll take you on a little tour of unknown Game Gear games. Just a little background on this game overall. This is actually a first-party Sega game. So this was created very late in the Game Gear's lifespan. And the Game Gear itself is basically just a portable master system. So it has a lot of the same architectures, a lot of the same quirks and everything else. But for whatever reason, the Game Gear has the ability to display far more colors than either the Master System or the Genesis did, so they definitely showed off with this game. There's a lot of really good artistic assets and things. You'll get to see those in just a little bit.
We're actually ready, Omni, so whenever you're good, just give us the countdown.
Alright, I will let you know when to start timer. It doesn't matter too much, but I like to start at a certain point in the intro sequence. And now we get to see if my save was erased or not. Oh, it wasn't. Okay, cool. So, starting it off. I'm playing on the Japanese version, and this is actually on a Game Gear. So, I have it specially modded, hooked up, and playing right now. But also because of that, I've had some power instability issues with it lately. So if, for whatever reason, the game suddenly resets, I'm sorry, but I also have a backup, so not all is lost. Yeah, so this opening here is basically, there's a big tree nearby. One day it's just calling to me, something shining on top, and get ready to start timer now. And so it begins. 日本の皆さんこんばんは。私の日本語は下手ですけど、まあ頑張ります。楽しんでください。Not a whole lot to say starting off. You can immediately notice some similarities between a certain notable Nintendo franchise, just in some of the major appearance and puzzle aspects. But right now we're pretty much bare bones. I'm a human, I've got a sword, which is, for whatever reason, the thing that that amulet on top of the tree turned into. Taking some minor detours here on the way to the first dungeon. このカテゴリーは 100%、それは、すべてのオレンジ集まります。と2つの隠しアイテム手に入れます。So this is 100%, and that means that I need to go out of my way to collect all of these extra HP power-ups, and there's a couple of other hidden items. Right now there simply is no any percent category for a rather few significant reasons, the most of which is just certain bosses toward the end get to be a little too unpredictable to handle with a minor amount of HP. But yeah. Here we go. ここは炎の迷宮です。難しくないですが、まあ、魅力的です。Yep, a little bit too much damage. The dungeon overall is just really simple, and as it should be, it's just the first dungeon. A lot of them follow the similar pattern of go get some amulet that'll lead you to the boss, and then in general, beating a boss should unlock a new ability, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Alright, and save just in case. Alright, so first boss, I want to get 2 hits. Okay, and each cycle I'm going to be able to get 4 to 6 hits. 2, 4, 5. Okay, good. So long as I can average about 4 or 5, we're good here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, one more cycle. That was actually really good. Should only need 1, 2. There we go. And got it. その買い物が100座し術を解除します。So now we have probably the most important ability in the game is just this ability to turn your regular attack into a multi-stab. And not only is it a constant hitbox, it also doubles the amount of damage you do. And so long as I can basically rapidly tap the button, it'll come out pretty much instantly, like even before the animation will swap into the 8 damage version. And that's really important for a few boss quick kills as well as just my general survival. So even though this is 100%, I have to go and pick out a couple of these silly things, like that candle is absolutely necessary. They have specifically programmed in some dark rooms, and as you can imagine, you should just be able to easily walk around and navigate it even in total blackness, but yeah, not so with this game. It actually transports you to an entirely different room if you don't have the candle, one where you cannot progress. So I had to go out of the way to get that, and there's another item like that later on. Alright, and now we're in the turtle altar. And like I said, I could navigate this blindly, but, well, not really much of a need to right now. And I also really want to start conserving my HP. The next boss is fairly difficult. More oranges. There's not a whole lot of oranges early on in the game, and that's probably what makes this run difficult early on. It's just I really don't have much room for mistakes on some of these bosses. Like, I have to be aggressive, but some of them can just straight up kill me if I'm not particularly careful. This is a mini-boss. I just needed to get 6 hits, and he appears completely random. There we go. Ideally, of course, he'd turn up on the first spin every time. all good now. Yeah, so this is kind of a minor dungeon. There's no boss to it, but there is a rather significant change, and we get the first power at the end of it. You'll understand a little bit more of what I mean when I get there. There used to be a laser fence here. If I could skip, like, having to go out of my way and pick that other thing up, like, that'd be so much better, but alas, there's not a skip for everything. Yep, but now I have the ability to turn into a turtle, and that's every bit as good as it sounds. You get just about every aspect of being a turtle, moving ridiculously slow, without really any of the normal benefits that you'd expect. You just get that for safety. Okay. And we're coming up on Turtle's most significant role in this first area, which is simply to get me up to a higher level. Alright, goodbye, Turtle. We won't see you for another couple minutes. And that is the entirety of his use right now. He does have some very important uses later on, ironically, specifically because he is slow. But I'm going to save here in case I take damage on the way up. このバスはとても危険です。難しくないけど、予測不可能です。Yeah. This first part should be pretty consistent. I don't think I'll have trouble getting up, but sometimes I miss a cycle on the saw blades. But I really want to get to the boss with as much HP as possible. And it'll become apparent why, so one more save. Alright. So this is Anne. Anne really has no redeeming factor other than turning into these blobs, which are completely random and do a ton of damage. And just because I have such limited range, I more just have to guess and hope that they're going to move into my sword as opposed to me hitting them. And then there's a safe spot that I try to line myself up to. There we go. If I get this right, it'll only take 3 phases. There we go. Safe spot. Yeah, oh crap. Double KO does not work in my favor either, so have to get positioning right here. Got it. Alright. So Anne is kind of like the gatekeeper to this initial world, and she drops the key to the next, at least as far as the Japanese version goes, they call them countries. Right now I'm in Verda, which is what the fan translation calls this area, but it's literally is Kusuno Kuni, which is grass country.
So there's not an official translation of this game? No.
Not terribly surprising for a 1995 released Game Gear game, which is honestly pretty sad. Like, this is a great game. It's just, like, it came out later than most Super Nintendo games, and honestly looks as good, but just limited market and interest kind of will do that. But we got some minor loose ends. First I gotta break a kid's toy and go and visit the old man for picking up some good stuff. Gotta get some magic powder. So that's life powder. It'll come in handy in a couple different places. But for now, we head off to the next world. which is... let's see here. Equip the key. You can only have one item at a time, which is somewhat annoying, so I have to keep swapping. But now we are in Hananokuni, or literally Flower Country. But again, the translation, I think they did a really nice job with the fan translation. They call this Flora, which pretty much matches up with what I'd expect there. But our friend Turtle gets to make another appearance. Oh yeah. But this is where things start to really get a little interesting in terms of what you have the ability to do. So, picking up yet another new power, we now have Mole, which unfortunately is about the second most useless power, but it does show up from time to time. 花の国は最大の国です。7つのダンジョンがあります。But let's go pick up some side items first. This is actually an item that I can get as a random drop from enemies, but it's a little ridiculous to try and pick up. I'm not going to restart runs just so I can get it early on and save 20 seconds, so I pick it up there. It actually functions as kind of an energy tank. I can equip it and it'll restore my HP when in a pinch. But yeah, so soon we also get another power, which I really enjoy because they have some nice attention to detail with it. This is actually Merman. And Merman is about as useful as you can make it on land. Actually, here, let's show that off real quick. So this is what happens if you just turn into it plainly. Yeah, you can't do a whole lot with that. But it's entirely necessary to let me go into any amount of water at all. So, there we go. Your small taste of Merman for the day. And this dungeon is also a little bit dangerous, and you will see why. このダンジョンも危険です。神はいじめ。That's a safety precaution. I can get around him, but I'm really not up for risking it right now. I still have just a pretty small amount of HP. And we also see these jellyfish for the first time, which are pretty dangerous. I don't want to save. Humans, unsurprisingly, are best in this game simply because I have opposable thumbs and can move blocks around, which comes up a fair number of times. But as is the theme with this game, like, the dungeons themselves are fairly... my cycle's off. Okay. Whew, okay, didn't get another hit. Safe for now. The dungeons themselves are fairly small. They do tend to have some extra gimmick over other dungeons, but you stay down there, crab. Okay, good. I'm not going to be the hero crab today. In this case, it's just one simple water puzzle, but just because the dungeons are so short, I honestly think it makes it better. Oh, that was close. Just because they really don't overstay their welcome at all. There's the next keystone piece. Do one more save, just in case the boss throws me for a loop. I don't really know the name of this boss. I call him New Form, though. Ideally, I want to be stabbing right when he appears, but his movement, as well as his time in, like, the jelly form, are random. Okay. And I don't want him to turn into that. There we go. And remember, I do want to double tap as soon as possible to get the multi-stab out. He's probably going to do, yeah. One more hit. Okay. And now, of course, there's always more to come. There we go. Alright, not a bad boss. Not a bad boss at all. You got the next thing, which is a turtle power. The theme with every new droplet that I get, they're called droplets, is that I get a new power with each one, usually for one of my transformations. In this case, it's a transformation for everybody's favorite turtle. So now I can bum rush the heck out of things. And that's about all it's good for. There's only actually 2 areas where that's necessary at all, and they're both on that same screen. And now we're over to the jungle area. There's a couple of things to get out of the way first. If you explore the area down below me a little bit better, there's supposedly a shop and a little flower garden. There's a girl that's all bummed because the flowers are dying, all the water is dried up, and a guy who supposedly is the actual gardener is all depressed as well. So we fix that up by clearing out the aqueduct. And of course they're so happy that they can't help but shower us with flowers, which, believe it or not, turns into a major item. This is also the point where we start to get more and more oranges. So my safety becomes a little bit less in question. Every orange I get increases my HP by about 6, if I remember right. Got flowers. And also gonna go talk to this guy, who's suddenly much more cheered up. And for whatever reason, in his back room, he decided it'd be a great idea to hide, I don't know, everything else that he owns, including a compass, which sadly is another entirely required item. It's just like the candle in that it is absolutely required to progress through the next dungeon, despite you not actually needing its effect to do so. It's just a hard-coded thing. They have like a Lost Woods sort of setup coming up where I need to follow a certain path, and the compass tells you that path. But if you try to traverse it without having the compass, you can't follow it regardless. So now we've got a little depressed kid. He's sad because all the flowers died. Everybody loves flowers, and, well, no surprise, flower country. Cheer him up with these new flowers, and he agrees to show us his secret place, as children often do. There's little bits and pieces of the story that I haven't really covered. Like, you can flesh out more of the story by talking to the villagers and getting a better idea about what the heck's actually going on. It's kind of depressing, but I'll cover that soon. For now, we have the best power. We picked up Mouse. And Mouse both moves the fastest of any character and has an attack. It's a really weak attack, but it is an attack nonetheless. So we will see a lot of Mouse coming up. It's has the greatest utility of all the various classes. There we go. First, one minor detour. One of the things that you learn earlier on is that they kidnapped all the men in the village and are, I'm not exactly sure what, forcing them to do something. This guy's one of the ones that got captured, and they just put him in a cave behind some spikes. I guess that's what counts as a jail cell. But you cheer him up with some flowers, and he gives you a comb to give to his sister, who is actually back in that first town. Now we head into the jungle labyrinth. I don't want to change for mouse. We are getting... Here we go. So compass points out the way. It's going to be left, down, left, up, up, up. And I I require the compass for this, as much as I'd like to skip it.
Quick question for you, Omni.
Yep.
So when you rescued Red Mage in that cave there,
Yep.
was there a way to get across those spikes without taking damage, or did the game just intend for you to walk over?
Nope. As far as I know, there is no way to clear those without taking damage. We meet alternative hero here, who's supposedly trying to do the same thing as we are. He swings a baguette pretty hard, I guess, and is full of haughtiness in trying to accomplish the mission. But he can't turn into animals, so he's kind of screwed on a lot of these points. Yeah, see? He done screwed up already. For the most part, when you're another creature, you can't talk to other humans, and, like, as a human, you can't talk to other animals, and vice versa, so that's, like, the only opportunity for you to actually talk to the human. Mouse is absolutely required for this dungeon, for that room only. There's a gimmick here with the switches where just different combinations lead to different rooms, and you need to visit every room in order to progress, clear out those orbs. So this is the right switch room. Now I'm going to do the left switch room, which is the easiest of the bunch. And we get to one of my favorite bosses, just because the quick kill's amazing. Alright, so a quick save in case I screw it up. Alright. Swap over. Okay. There we go. 1ピクセル左とそして安全な場所を作る So just moving left 1 pixel there, which is, by the way, only possible as Turtle, just because he moves that much slower. You get into this perfect position to basically be in a boss's blind spot. There's no other spot that'll do that for you. So thank you, Turtle. You've done something else useful. And now, though, we're going to take a small detour. We've got to take a trip back to the first area. And we're going to grab another orange as well as something special. The new power that we get is actually Spin Drill for the mole, so we can dive a little bit. 今、クスの国に帰ります。隠しアイテムにある。I can only go down as the human, so I need to swap back both the human and to this key in order to change back to the other world. It's a little bit of just annoying menuing, but overall, I mean, most of the game is still gameplay, so I can forgive it. By the way, the music in this game is really good, if you haven't caught on to that yet. So this is the first appearance of our magical water powder, whatever the heck it is. We can revive dead orange trees and get our daily citrus. Hooray. But Mr. Red Mage from before, his comb is now going to good use. His sister's over here grieving because he was taken away. And so we give her the comb to cheer her up and let her know that he's still doing alright. And she gives us, with the only thing that she has, a bunch of grapes. Because fruit is very important. Get that healthy, balanced diet. So there's the first part of our little item trip. Now heading over and getting a special item, which the very first time... I'll pick that up, why not? The very first time I played this game, I had no idea what it was actually used for. Like, I never found the spot where it's supposed to be used. And that'll make a little bit more sense after both you see it as well as where it gets used up in the end. But with Spin Drill, vast new worlds are open to us. Thank you, Mole. We'll see you again in a couple minutes. This is a little bit of a jerk puzzle. There's just a lot of other paths that you can take, and like entrances that it looks like, oh, I should be going there, but you can't actually get to them. Please don't jump on my head. He can attack me in the cutscene, and I'd rather he didn't. Okay, good. And there we go. That's the floating stone, or Ukuishi. And like I said, I had no idea what the heck it got used for. But for now, we're done. Let's head back to the Flower Country and do the next few dungeons. Just a little bit on damage. Like, the normal swing when you're human does 4 damage. Every swing that you do as a mouse is 2 damage. And doing that multi-slash is 8 damage. And basically, 8 damage is the highest you can do. I don't think that there's an attack that does more than 8 damage. So, yeah, just the fact that you can get a persistent hitbox out there doing 8 damage for every recurrence is really important to a lot of the quick kills that are coming up. Alright, back in Flower Country. Care to take any guesses on the next dungeon type that we're going to wind up in? There's been a mild theme so far. That's right, mouse. Place your bets in chat. Alright, Turtle, we have need of you just one more little bit. Alright. If you had your money on Desert, congratulations, you win 10 Omnibucks. I don't know. Yes, that's right. Next up is Desert, but it's a little different. There's no boss associated with this area. It's purely kind of just a side item that you need to get in order to actually get the next droplet, which always comes from a boss. But first... Ukuishi teniremashita kara, kono basho wa aruareru. So just because I had the floating stone, this entire place appears, and this is actually hidden power. So you can go the entire game without getting this ability, which is, I'm a bird! I love bird a lot. It's not actually very useful. Like, I get to skip over ground-based terrain and some enemies, and it moves somewhat fast. Running as a human is still faster, I believe. Go. But if you get bird, you can actually skip this dungeon in its entirety because you don't need the item that it gives out anymore. But even so, this is 100%, so I'm gonna get everything anyways.
Speaking of the category, are there any items you wind up skipping in 100%?
Nope. I go out of the way to get every single item for that sole reason. Like the apple that I got from the mole earlier, like I said, I can get that from a random enemy just on a drop, and I guess you could potentially skip that just to say that it's like not an actual like required item. But I always get it anyways, just in the event, well, I don't know, it makes me feel better. That's about it. I run this game. Nobody else does. I get to make the rules for now. And really, I mean, the game is short enough as it is that, like, even 100% category is less than an hour. So, it's not all that bad. Any percent, like, if you could find a way to make it consistent, I think would probably be around 45 minutes, something like that. Because you don't have to do all this backtracking to other countries. Let go of me, guy. There we go. And there we go. That's the entirety of the desert dungeon. All we needed to do was pick up that hourglass. Oh. Oh well, mild ride. The hourglass, just when you step on certain tiles, which happen to only appear in one dungeon, which is the next one, freezes time for just a little bit. But the point of freezing time is that you can get over some ground-based obstacles, which if I have bird, I can just fly straight over. So, you take your pick of what you actually want to do. I think in an any percent route, you'd probably still go through the desert dungeon, just because it saves time over having to go all the way out of the way to pick up the floating stone for the bird. But up next, we're going through the waterfall dungeon. Which, honestly, one of the most confusing things if you play this game blind is what to do now. Like, there's no hints about it, even in the translation. Like, there's really sparing ideas that you're supposed to take your magic powder and find Mouse Elder and show it to him. And he knows how to make the better stuff, so we get super life powder. And this place doesn't have the restriction of, if you don't have candle, it'll just completely block you from going anywhere. So I can afford to go through that a little better. What am I doing? What am I doing? Hourglass. And once more. My health is a little low. I'm not too worried. So long as I go through. The boss isn't too hard. Or rather, if I get the quick kill, the boss is not going to touch me. This is probably one of the more inconsistent quick kills, though, because it's entirely based on positioning, and I don't really have good visual cues for it other than just my intuition. So we'll see what happens. Humans suddenly got a lot stronger. Alright. Just have to go pick up the set piece for this guy, for this dungeon. Being that this is the waterfall dungeon, like, Merman is still used incredibly sparingly. Just kind of threw it in, because they hadn't seen it in a while. Alright. Okay. Those jellyfish, I really cannot understate how dangerous they are, even though they don't look it. This piece. Alright, boss time. This guy probably gave me the most trouble in terms of routing it out. Honestly, the very first time I fought him, like, I beat him first try without too much trouble at all. And then every time I tried it after that, like, he has some problems to him. So set up here. Right here. Got it. Alright. This position is what really matters, because you have to be just in the right spot so his wrecking ball just doesn't completely mess you up. And then after that, like, that's it. There we go. So, back to mouse. 新しい術は、磁石。とても面白いですから、まあ、すぐに見せてます。The new power here is magnetism. Yep. Which we get to pull ourselves on these, but it has a much... Oh no. Please don't! Didn't mean to go in yet. Our powered up juice clears up this poison lake, which is otherwise just will absolutely wreck me. There is no way of getting through here without that. So, do a quick save. This is also the shortest dungeon in the game. My health is not great. The boss is easy, but I can still mess it up. Here we go. That's the only gimmick, is that his door is hidden. Alright, one more. Okay, now we go into musical chairs. He can appear in one of 7 spots. Okay, I missed him there. This is easy access to 5 of them. So I just hand out here, and if he happens to appear on the far side, like he did there, like, I don't even go for it. There's no chance. One more hit, please. Nope. He appeared on the far side again. One more. Come on. There we go. And that's that boss. That's our last new power for now, and gives us the ability to dive in a very select few spots. If you're noticing something, it's just that abilities have very limited use in general. There's only specific areas where you can actually make use of them, and this is no exception to that. Thank you, Hero Turtle. Did not try to interfere today. This is the last dungeon in this world, and honestly, it's one of the most fun. You'll get to see a few reasons why, but it also gets to show off exactly... The entire dungeon is built around using the magnetism power for the mouse in certain ways, but I've got other ideas. Couple unique things. This is probably the longest dungeon in the game, also because they threw in a bunch of extra puzzles that are of this variety. If you've ever played a Zelda game, you probably have seen such a puzzle before. I still have to be a little careful. Those metal spike balls are really dangerous. They have a much larger hitbox than they appear. Okay. I want to be human for pushing this ball around because it's faster than trying to move it with magnet. Alright, go up here. Alright. So this is awesome because it just makes use of so many different things. And here we go. There you go. Thank you, Turtle. You have been useful again. The entire setup here is that there's a little bug with some positioning elements. Just if you're on the bottom or the right side of objects and they move into you, you get 1 extra pixel more than, well, overlapping with your hitbox. And that will let you zip. So it finds out. That helps a fair bit. Unfortunately, this is really the only place that it's useful. Like, you can do very minor zips elsewhere, but none that actually save time. And Turtle is necessary because it has to do also with subpixel values, and since Turtle moves so slow, he's really the only one who can do it in a consistent enough way that you can get through. Let's do Bird. So, here on the bottom, bird just saves me the trouble of having to worry about those energy balls going through, which can knock me off onto one of the other blocks and have me reset the puzzle. Alright, minor thing. Definitely need to move this ball first, otherwise I can soft lock. Uh-oh. Okay, that was bad. If I had zipped in there, yeah, that was not the correct place that I wanted to zip. There we go. And then one more time as bird. Alright. Coming up on the boss. If this boss goes correctly, you will basically see none of him. There's also a huge puzzle here, but yeah, about that. Damage boosts for days. Okay, I think this is a good spot. Hopefully I'm not too far left. So this is Gaul. He's the second gatekeeper, so to speak. Minion of the big baddie. And if I got the positioning right... I did. Okay, there we go. That is not trivial to set up. He's got second form, but not terribly dangerous either. Thank you, Gaul. Get the heck out. And with that, we're pretty much done with this area. There's one more orange I need to collect on my way out, but all the dungeons are cleared. We've got the next key. Move on to the next country. There's one more orange tree to pick up. And that's right, it was just sitting over here the whole time. Waited until now because just necessary. And for whatever reason, you can't pick up oranges from the trees while in mouse form. You have to be a human, apparently. I guess you're too short. But first, we have a small detour. そして、春の国は完成した。もう一度クスの国へ帰りますから、最後の隠しアイテムにある。So, transform back. This time we don't have quite so much to do. Remember that area where Anne's labyrinth was early on? We're heading back there. There's one more orange waiting for us, as well as something a little special. And something a little different. But something that helps out tremendously for some of these later dungeons coming up. I actually wonder how much time out of the run I spend in a menu as opposed to actually moving around, just because there are so many transitions and you really can't avoid them. But really it's doing the best it can. I mean, this is a Game Gear. You've got 2 buttons and start, so do the best with what you have. Alright, so there's the orange. We've got a minor trip out of the way. This is definitely an optional item, but it's unique in that it's actually the only one that you can put back in the chest if you so choose. It's Pandora's Box. Pandora no hako wa damage wo hangen sasemasu. So it'll cut down your damage by about half. from most enemies. I'm not actually sure if it applies to bosses as well. But regardless, I mean, reducing your damage in any scenario is pretty much only a good thing. I included it as part of the 100% requirements, mainly because I'm over here anyways, why not? So, クスの国も完成した 森の国に行きます。 And with that, oh, we're not done yet. I need this yet. You can't just go straight to the last area. You need to go to Flora first. And here we go. Last world. So this is the smallest world by a fair margin. But it is thick with plot elements. There's an orange to my right. I'm going to wait to pick that up until later on for like literally frames of saving. There's 2 extra oranges I could have picked up in that jungle area, but oh wait, there are more times for me to traverse yet. And actually, right now it benefits me more to go through with less health than with more. So the entire plot piece of this game is that I'm traveling down here at the behest of Princess Rui, who tells me that I should go out and gather the 6 droplets and save the country as a result. But I kind of took too long. So meanwhile, she's been tortured and killed, and that's actually her grave, and her attendants are waiting there. And so that really blows. Yeah, way to be a downer game. But they said that she left this amulet for me, and with it I should be able to get through this final tower and fight the final baddie. So let's give that a try, shall we? Oh wow, the dodge. Alright, so amulet and human. Alright, let's do this. Oh. Well. That's not good. So, I cannot yet fight the forces of evil. They are just too dang hard. And that broke my seed, or my sword. And, yeah. That's bad news bears. But while we're knocked out, our best friend there comes and at least saves us from dire peril. And Rui comes and talks to us in the dream, explains a little bit more about why she split up what we'll find out is the water shard into these 6 droplets, and sent me on a quest to collect them. There's 2 other shards, and they're shards, crystals, whatever. They're in the hands of evil. She split that one up so that it would not be picked off. She also drops a few more hints about something else that's story related. The game never really answers why, for example, you specifically were brought in to do this task and why you were called to come save this country. But you get a few hints about it in that sequence. But we're not doing so hot. I'm gonna save just in case. So I can't attack anymore. My sword is broken. I'm fairly useless. The other piece of information that she gives us there is that the final droplet, the one that we're missing right now, is hidden away in this very land. On top of a hill, present the amulet between the 3 trees. So Okay, we'll find the hill with 3 trees. I also can't do any transformations now either, so we're sticking with human. And since I can't even attack, like, I'm only good for pushing and pulling things. Oh yeah, humanity. First up though, gotta get some more vitamin C. We're coming up on some of these last oranges, so there's only a small handful left. I'll be picking those up in a short time. Well, we got our hill and 3 trees. Amulet, go! Alright. This final dungeon has multiple bosses, because why not? But I still don't have a sword, so of course they're gonna just throw a whole bunch of push and pull block puzzles first. I'm not that smart though, so we're just gonna go right on through. Oh boy, I've done this before. Yeah, the power of a thick skull. And there we go, that's the final droplet. And with that, we are able to reconstruct the water shard, which gives us all of our powers back and make sure that we have a sword. But the main thing is, Mouse is a heck of a lot better at getting burned. Make it through in only 2 instead of like 6. Alright. So, there's 2 towers to this dungeon. Each one has a refight with one of those major bosses that I had fought before, the gatekeepers. Except now they're a bit more powered up. It's also a little bit ambiguous what you're actually supposed to do in this section, because there's no clear way to move forward. But first, more citrus. Save just in case. And good old Turtle's gonna make a reappearance to crash through the dang floor. Alright, Gull. You and me again. I can't get into good position for a quick kill again. I think he has more HP this time around too. What did I turn into? Mouse. I'm supposed to be human for this. Oh, dang it. I am out of sync. So, his homing attack actually is a 2-stage... Wow, I am really bad at dodging this right now. Wow. That was awful. Spider has a few more tricks to him now too, and basically turning into a million little spiders, which still hurt a lot. What? I have to watch this then, because something happened. Normally, I can't do that in 2 cycles. So, something must have happened there. I'll have to catch this VOD. I've done it before, but I never figured out how. And that would be a pretty significant time saving if I can figure out how to do that consistently. But since that was the Gaul refight, now we have an Anne refight, and she is just as bad as she was the first time around. But first, I need to prove how puny my little human arms are. Not working. Luckily, I've got the power of communication and cooperation. Alright, Anne. Don't be a jerk. So remember that sequence before where she split up into a whole bunch of blobs? Yeah. She's still a fan of that, except now they move faster and do like 3 times the damage. Luckily I have a lot more hits I can absorb, but I also have to do this 7 cycles, which is ridiculous. So this is by far the longest fight in the game. The way that they pop out from their main like blob is also random, so I'm not guaranteed to get a hit. Come on. There we go. And yeah, they're just really frightening in general because you can't really swing it where they are. You have to swing it where they're going to be, and you really have no idea what that actually is. So nice and... The other option is to cower in a corner. Come on. There we go. So that was cycle 3. Having fun yet? Okay. That was a good cycle. 2, 3. Yeah, no, this boss is the entire reason why any percent does not exist. Like, if you go through, I mean, theoretically you'd want to go through any percent without getting a single orange, or maybe just like 1 or 2. And I don't think that that's possible. There's just too many unknowns to it. Like, you can take a slightly faster or safer route by being Turtle. He actually deals with these blobs pretty well, but even that's not a guarantee. So that was 5. Alright, I'm gonna take emergency precautions. Eat your apples, yo. Alright. Alright, there we go. Get the heck out of here, Anne. And with that, we have reconstructed all 3 crystals, and unlocked the super special Power Slash, which, oh, I forgot about this, is not any better than Multi-Slash, it turns out. It does the same amount of damage, it just happens to have more range. But with that, we are all set. We're nearing in on the final stretch. Mouse is just so much better at damage boosting. There we go. But if you remember, I skipped up 2 oranges, so we'll just pick those back up on the way. One more trial against Mr. Skeleton Face. This is our last orange tree. Yeah, health bar looking pretty good. For the most part, like, none of these remaining bosses are terribly dangerous, just because I do have the health to tank most any hits, and just the number of quick kills that I have on most bosses is enough to keep me safe. But that is the last, I believe, of 17 oranges total in the game. So, yeah, doing pretty well. Alright. Save for funsies. This part should not be a problem. But if you remember, Mr. Skeleton Face just is too hard to crack. So we got Power Slash to take care of him. And that's about it. Like, he still does a ton of damage, but it's not all that bad compared to what else would be happening. I'm gonna go with Bird just so I can get through this without taking any extra damage. human. And as a precautionary measure, let's get with some grapes. I didn't mention this earlier. Grapes act as kind of like an emergency reserve tank. So when I run out of HP, it'll basically be a fairy and perk me back up. Go grapes. Here we go, last boss. His name is Moa, I believe. And he's got a lot of forms. There, I got 2 hits in. Oops. There's a 2-part sequence here. You always need to finish the hit with a power slash. Most of the time, I'm only going to be able to get 2 hits, but it is possible to hit 3. It's just very difficult, and I basically need to already be on top of him when he spawns for that to work out. These orbs always appear in the same pattern. Alright, he's now in his second phase, which is to launch these ice crystals. Okay, I'm getting a little too greedy on this, trying to get the 3rd hit when I really shouldn't. The grape restoration animation takes a long time, so I'd rather avoid having to use it if possible, and, well, now you get to see it. Yeah, I played that too risky. Alright, he's in his final phase. You can tell because he puts up both arms instead. This is probably also the easiest to dodge. Nearing on time. I'll let you know when I have the last hit in on him. There it is, time.
Just give it 1 second to catch up here on me, but well done. That was certainly an interesting game. I've actually been telling people this was a Genesis game this entire time.
Nope.
I did not realize it was Game Gear until you mentioned it.
This is like Master System plus plus. But
so the in time was 103.10.
Okay, that matches up pretty much with what I had. Alright, that's not a bad time. It's on par with the first completion I had, I believe, for a 12-hour challenge. It was something like 107, and then after that I gradually just knocked off minutes at a time. Right now my PB is at 59:47, so it is sub-hour. There's probably 1 more minute that can come off from that, but yeah, no, this was pretty happy with this run. I got all the quick kills, some amount of trolling, but, you know, it's to be expected. And yeah, no, it was a fun game and fun time. Thank you guys for being here.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming out and doing the run. It was definitely interesting. I'm sure it's a game nobody has seen before, and your bilingual commentary was amazing. Thank you for making the effort to do that, by the way.
Thank you. 終わりました。見ていただきありがとうございます。それを楽しんで願っています。もっとたくさんありますので、続けてみてください。Alright, and I think that's it for me. I'm gonna see if I can fall back asleep. That's the biggest question I have right now. But yeah, definitely keep watching, guys. There's lots more fun stuff to happen all weekend. And yeah, take care. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Omni. Yeah, next up, we're actually going to have Killing Pepsi, who's going to do a run of the PC classic platformer Fly Wrench. If you've never seen Fly Wrench, you're in for a treat. It's fast-paced, it's colorful. You know, personally, for a very long time, I had only known Fly Wrench from his appearance in Super Meat Boy, but the game's amazing. Really looking forward to that run. Let's drag him in here.
8 minutes and 52 seconds.
Hey, Killing Pepsi, how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Let's see.
We're just going to take a minute while they get set up here. But while they do, so this is JRTA3. It's the third in a series of marathons we've had over the years. JRTA, of course, stands for Japanese Real-Time Attack. And the point of these marathons is we're trying to raise some money to get our good Japanese friends over to AGDQ. It's Awesome Games Done Quick, which is a large speedrunning marathon at the start of the